What's going on, you beautiful bastards? It's your boy John here again. And what is going on? How's your day going? Going good? I hope so. Hope you're doing the right thing. Remain. I hope you're having tenacity in your daily routine. Alright, I'm gonna stop the bloody, what do you call it? Eloquent vocabulary. Even though it's nice, I'm gonna stop it a bit and I'm gonna come down to earth. I want to speak like a human being for 2 seconds. Right. Semen retention / NoFap is not for everyone. Okay, it is not for everyone. And let me get into the crux of this. Let me really say why it's not for everyone. Okay. When I first started NoFap, I haven't actually done an in-depth video as to why I started NoFap, and most importantly why I quit porn and I quit pleasuring myself, okay? And I also, in the process, quit fruitless hookups, okay? I actually quit all of these things, but I initially started off with just quitting porn and masturbating. That's what I initially started off with. But it's not for everyone, man. It's not, because essentially what you're saying is I am celibate by default, okay? You're choosing a path of celibacy. That's not easy. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not fucking easy. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's difficult. Bloody hell, it's difficult. It's probably the biggest challenge that you're going to take part in your life. You're not going to have anything more difficult than this, I reckon. If you can master this, fucking hell, man, you're unstoppable, dude. Seriously. You will be unstoppable if you can master this. I have, thankfully, with the grace of the Lord, I've gotten to around 60 odd days. That's with the grace of God, man. I don't know how I did it, but I know I did it with the grace of God. I would never have been able to do it if I was relying solely on myself and my own willpower, because that's not enough. It's not enough. There's only so much your willpower can do for you. You need to have something a lot higher to believe in to abstain from that, because that is a prime drive, dude. The need for sexual indulgence is a carnal biological desire, okay? If you're not doing it with real women, you're going to find other ways to do it. You just are. And if you're going to abstain from all of that, that takes a lot of determination. And I don't think it's possible to just be a normal man and say, I'm going to quit this and I'm going to do it. No, you need to have a higher purpose. You actually need to have a higher thing that you're serving, something much higher than you. That's why I think I've said it in a previous video, but I'm going to say it now. If you're on semen retention or NoFap, you need spiritual practices. You need to have a spiritual connection with the Lord, because otherwise you're going to relapse, all right? You're going to relapse. It's going to happen if you're not believing in the Lord. I've seen so many people on Reddit, YouTube, who talk about them relapsing, going back to porn and binging and shit. And I can't really see how they did it. I'm not going to say that they're not committed. Everyone has slip-ups. Everyone fucks up. Okay, we all have our temptations. We all give in. I'm not going to say I'm free from that. I'm not free from it. I've definitely slipped up. But I haven't had a full-blown relapse yet. Why? Because the fear of the Lord is always in the back of my mind. I know that if I'm looking at this shit, God's judging me right now. The Lord is judging me right now. He's going to take away his blessings. He's given me a lot of blessings. He's going to take them away. He's going to take them away. I'm going to lose his protection. Right? I'm going to lose his blessing. So I can't do it. I can't relapse. It's just, even if I want to so badly do it, it's like there's a father that's watching me, and he's got the eyes like this. You're going to relapse, son. You're going to relapse. Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go. I give you my blessing. And the moment you relapse, of course, now you want to kill yourself. If there was a shotgun next to you, you would probably put a few shots in there and probably blow your head off, because yeah, it's not good. It's not good relapsing, man. But the journey is not for everyone, because again, at the beginning of this journey, I started it because I wanted to increase my own attraction as a human being. I knew that if I retained, I would get a better control over my mental, my emotional, my physical. I knew that if I could control my willpower and my lust, I knew that if I could control these things, I would become a much more grounded and well-balanced human being. So the motivations at first were very superficial. And of course, women attraction as well. That was definitely a motivation of mine at the beginning. It was. I ain't gonna lie. But what you will find happens is throughout the journey, your perception of the world will change. You will enter higher vibrational realms. Okay, you will definitely enter more spiritual dimensions. Weird shit's going to happen around you. You are going to start to think in very different ways. You're going to become very perceptive of yourself. It's almost like you've got a higher power that's entered you now, and you're witnessing the world through that lens, because you have the blessing of the Lord. My perception of it is, it's the blessing of the Lord. Other people will say it's the blessing of your being, the blessing of the deep inside, which for me is the Lord. But as you enter these higher spiritual realms, you start to witness yourself and where you were fucking up previously. And the biggest realizations for me during this whole journey was that women are human beings just like me. They are human beings. They are the same as me. They have wants, they have needs, they go to the toilet, they eat food, they socialize, they get upset, they get sad, they get angry. They are just like me. Well, they're just like the rest of us. The only thing different is their biology and to some extent their intrinsic nature, because they have a different spiritual being inside of them. It's not that different, it's just the opposite. But we all have access to both realms of the spiritual. Both men and women have access to the feminine and the masculine. It's just that women are more dominated by the feminine and we're more dominated by the masculine. But I'm not even going to hold that as a truthful value statement, because I've seen men who act like women and I've seen women who act like men. So it's not always universal, but the way it's supposed to be is we're primarily masculine, men, and women are primarily feminine. That's the way it naturally is. The feminine receives, okay, represented by the woman's groin, which is a receiving organ, and the masculine is represented by the domination, the need to penetrate, break through barriers, to conquer, which is represented by our groin, which again is a penetration groin, a penetration object. So these energies are represented in us. And that's it, that's the only difference between men and women. We're both human beings, we're both having a spiritual experience on earth, we're both divine. And previously, when I was in my lower vibrational days, I was sex starved. That's how I was. I was a little boy who was focused on sex. That's all I could think about. Okay, don't get me wrong, I still think about sex, but it's not the object of my goals anymore. That's what it used to be. That used to be the object of my goals. But through semen retention and NoFap, when you get away from the addiction, you start to look at the world in a humane way now, and you start to see women as human beings just like you, who you can have an emotional connection with. Okay, it's not primarily sex anymore, it's human. So the desire to have a woman, or the need, I should say, to have a woman so desperately like we did back in the old days, back in the old jerk days, massively goes down, because that you were coming from a place of neediness and sex starvation. You were sex starved when you were fapping. That's what you were. You had to fap every single day. You were addicted to the sensation, to the rush, to the pleasure. All right, you were addicted to it. So you were sex starved. So when you looked at women, you just saw them as an extension of your own addiction. You didn't even see them as human beings. That's why men are very socially awkward with women. That's why they have a lot of anxiety around women. That's why they can't be themselves around women, because they're not seeing them as human beings. They've got them on a pedestal and they see them as an object to be conquered, something that's better than them and is going to satisfy them. That's it. That's how most men see women. That's why most men can't even make eye contact with women, because they're fucking ashamed of it. They're ashamed of the fact that they can't talk to women, because they're addicted, because they see them as an object. It's really sad when I look at it that way. But that's how I used to be, and that's how most men are. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. Now what changed was, on the journey, I realised that they were human beings, and that I don't need them. I don't need women. They're not going to make me happy. They will only, if I use them in that way, the old lower vibrational way, they're just going to satisfy a short-term pleasure, just like my hand did. So there's nothing more to that. So what's more than that now? When you get deeper into the journey, you will eventually give up hookups. You will. If you're following the Lord and you're really getting deep into the journey, you're eventually going to give up hookups, because you're going to see hookups for exactly what it is. It's the same as wanking, but it's just with another human being now. It's nothing different. So what will eventually happen is you will now start to desire real intimate relationships with women. A companionship is what I like to call it, because it's not even based on sex anymore now. Sex is obviously an important part of your relationship with a woman, but that's not the primal object anymore. The primal object is companionship. You are a companion to each other. You're fit, and you're both serving each other in different ways. You as the man are the leader now. When you see a woman in this way, you look at her as being, you are to lead her to a better realm. You are to lead her to a better life, lead her into a better future, bring her and raise her up to the same vibration as you. You're essentially mentoring a woman. You're mentoring someone as a companion, and by default she's now going to serve you by going into her feminine, and she's going to receive all of that. She receives all of your gifts. She receives your value. She receives your semen. Women are receivers. They're reactionary. They're reactive, sorry. You know, a lot of men nowadays are reactive. It's because they're looking to receive from the woman. Men nowadays are looking to receive validation and love from the woman, and women don't do that. Women are not initiators. They never have been and never will be. They're not initiators. They're not going to stand up and tell you what to do. And when they do, they don't like that. They really hate having to take the lead. You can see it when they do it. There's a frustration in their voice. They don't like having to take the lead unless they're very masculine. And they grew up in that kind of household, and that's the primal energy that surrounds them. Most women who want to be in their feminine, they want the man to take the lead. When a man doesn't take the lead, she will take the lead, but it's going to hurt her. She ain't going to like it, trust me. So a better introspection on human relationships has come about me now. I understand what I want from a relationship now. And when I speak to women, I don't speak to them as if I'm trying to game them like I used to, or I'm trying to use gimmicks on them anymore, or techniques to try and get them to like me. I see that as so frugal and stupid now. I just speak to them like they're human beings. I just speak to them like they're a normal person. If I'm gonna have a conversation, I'm gonna have a conversation with them like they're a normal person. Sure, there's a little bit of a game going on because they are a woman and I like being in the presence of a woman. I will not treat a woman like a man. I just like being in the presence of a woman, so I'm gonna naturally, my style of speaking will change a little bit. I'll look at her a bit differently, sure, but I'm not gonna be using gimmicks and tactics and that sort of strategy to get her to like me. She either likes me or she doesn't. Okay, that's it. I present to her me with no intention behind it, unless she's very attractive and I just really want to go up to her and speak to her for the purposes of getting to know her because I like the way she looks. Unless that's the situation, in most situations when I'm speaking to a girl or a woman, I'm just being myself. I'm just having a conversation just like I would with a man. And if there is chemistry, if there is connection, if there is attraction, then we can take things further from there. But did you see what I said there? We always just start on a normal basis. And if there is chemistry, let's see where it goes. You're always in the present moment. Now I really went off tangent here. I just realised. But at the end of the day, when I said semen retention and NoFap isn't for everyone, that's the reason. Because you're going to give up something very, very primal And if you're doing this for women, if you're doing this for the so-called women attraction, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. I told you this. You're gonna fail. If you're doing it for superficial reasons, like validation from others, like being magnetic, okay, or for women attraction or whatever, yes, these things are gonna come. You're gonna witness these things, but some days they're not gonna be there. It's not gonna be 24/7. Some days they're just not gonna be there. And when they're not there, or when the women attraction isn't as crazy as you think it would be, because a lot of people think that the women attraction is every woman in a 24-meter vicinity around you, or 24-mile vicinity around you, suddenly can smell you and will instantly drop their pants down and beg for you to come down and deal with them. Nah, that's not what happens. What happens is you will be more confident, you will be more charismatic, you will be more natural, more human, okay? And naturally, when you come across a certain woman, when you come across certain women, okay, they will take a liking to you, okay, and they're going to give you choosing signals. That's the women attraction. It's certain women, of course. It's not every woman. It's certain women, okay? Certain women. When you go into a pub, you're going to see a few women in the room who are going to give you the look. There might be 5 or 6 women, maybe even 10. Who knows? There's just going to be a select number of women who are going to give you a look, and that's a choosing signal right there. That's your women attraction. You're just going to get more choosing signals on the basis of how you carry yourself and the aura, the poise, the presence that you now exude. Because again, you've got the Spirit of God guiding you now. Or again, if you want to take it from another spiritual dimension, you're just more present. You're not in your head anymore. You're in your body, and you're alive. You're existing. You exude existence. Your energy is good. Women are attracted to energy. Always have been and always will be. Your energy, your energy, your energy. Once you get that through your head, everything else will come right up. But if you're doing it for that, if you're doing it for superficial exterior things, you are going to fail, because one day, you know, you might be getting looks from women, but then another day you might not get any looks. And what happens then? You're like, oh, this doesn't work. Bust! I gotta bust! You're gonna go back and go right back to your old habits. Okay, so you're gonna fail. You are going to fail if you do it for that reason. But if you do it for a higher purpose, like serving yourself and serving the Lord, keeping that energy inside of you, mastering yourself, self-discipline, if you're doing it for these goals and these purposes, you will succeed then. Because now you have a paradigm shift. You're not just doing it for exterior things now, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it to better yourself. You're doing it to have mastery of yourself, and you're going to gain knowledge from that purpose. You're going to gain intimate knowledge about how you work. And knowledge is fucking power, mate. Why do you think you become more confident when you're on NoFap and semen retention? Why do you think you become more grounded? Why do you think you become more assertive? Why do you think you're able to deal with difficult situations more effectively now? Why do you think that is? Why do you really want to know why it is? Well, number one, you've got the Spirit of God that's backing you now. And number two, your genetic code, DNA, your life essence is inside of your semen. A nice little pre-packaged formula of you. And now you're keeping it inside of you. It rejuvenates, goes inside your cells, goes inside your body. You're not wasting your life essence now. You are alive with your own essence. Your genetic code is in there. Your genetic code carries millions of years of evolutionary patterns of behavior. Survival behavior. Things that helped your ancestors fucking survive. Everything that's happened today has happened before. Right? Everything. Nothing is new under the moon, as a YouTuber said today as I was watching his video. Very passionate, inspirational speaker. Don't know his name. But I've given him a reference. So I'm not plagiarizing his material. But that's what he said. He said nothing is new under the moon. Marcus Aurelius in Meditation says the same thing. Nothing is new on this earth. Everything has happened before. The play is the same. The actors are the only thing that's the difference. And even the actors are the same if you're really honest about it. But your genetic code carries those survival behaviors. That's why you become more confident. That's why you become more attractive. That's why you become more charismatic. That's why you become more social. Because you're now carrying the evolutionary behaviors of your ancestors. Whereas before, when you were wasting your seed every single day, there was no essence to you, there was no life to you. You were a robot, a non-human robot. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Keep retaining, stay on your fucking journey, or don't. It's up to you. I don't care. But I do want the ones who do succeed and the ones who want the best for themselves. All right, because it ain't for everyone, mate. I'm telling you right now. Take it from me. If you're not 100% dedicated to mastering yourself, and you're just doing this for superficial shit like women, I don't want to hear about women attraction anymore. I mean, I'll tell you my stories because it's fun to talk about it, but I really don't want to hear about it because it's such a fucking pointless thing. If you do it for women, yeah, you're gonna fail. Okay, so anyway, that's my message for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and leave your suggestions down below. If you've got any questions about the video or the topic or whatever, do comment below. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, have a pleasant day, have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.